Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I am your host, Jack Sperry. That is your producer, Jeffrey Cooperstein. Coop, it's Overreaction Monday.
Indeed.
Steelers have had 4 games where they have lost this year, and, yesterday was definitely a tough one. Now, It was probably the toughest game on the schedule, but watching over the film, man, it was an ugly football game for our Pittsburgh Steelers. And heading into this Week 16 matchup against the Ravens, they got to tighten it up quick if they want to secure their spot as AFC North champions. And they can do that this week with a win over the Raptors.
You win this one, you win the North.
Absolutely, my friend. Let's start off Ravens week here with some latest news and rumors for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got some more injury updates from Mike Tomlin at the podium today on guys like TJ Watt, George Pickens, Deshaun Elliott, and more. We'll break down those injury updates for you guys. Also, Odell Beckham Jr. is officially a free agent again, and now that George Pickens is injured and the Steelers' passing offense has become pretty much anemic since GP went down with an injury, got to have the conversation about, does it make sense for the Steelers to bring in OBJ? I'll give you guys my answer to that in our first segment today. And then also Rex Ryan made one of the stupidest statements I think I have ever heard in my entire life on Get Up this morning. We'll break down what that idiot had to say earlier today. And then we'll get into my Week 16 preview in our second segment today versus the Ravens. This is a big one, arguably the biggest game of the regular season for the Pittsburgh Steelers here, guys. So we're going to be breaking that down in our second segment of the day. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already to make this stream the best it can be. If you click that thumbs up icon, it tells the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying our content here, and that they should push this stream out to other Steelers fans like yourselves. Now, Coop, we will be going live 3 times this week like normal, but we're going to be going live on different days. So today is really our only normal live show day, going live every single Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. But instead of our normal Thursday live show, we will be back live on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. once again, Eastern time, of course, where we'll have our second live show of the week on Wednesday instead of on Thursday. And then on Saturday, we'll be having our live watch party starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's a 4:30 p.m. Eastern kick. So we'll have an hour-long pregame show for you guys, live play-by-play and instant reaction on Saturday, and then, of course, that extensive post-game coverage for you guys as well. So take a screenshot of the schedule right here if you haven't already, because this is when we're going to be going live here on Steelers Talk this week. Now, before we get into the Steelers content today, I want to give you guys a quick word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is focused on togetherness this holiday season. That means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better. Plus, if you're looking for a last-minute Christmas gift, tickets to an event like a Steelers game, for example, would be the perfect gift for the person in your life that you still need to get a present for. So Game Time has a brand new feature called Game Time Picks, which makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All you guys got to do is select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen when you go to an event you want to go see on the Game Time app. And Game Time automatically filters through their entire database to find you the best tickets with the best seats, the best prices, all that great stuff so that you can get the best deals to whatever ticket and whatever event you want to go to for you and your family. So what I love about using the Game Time app and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone right now is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and you also get flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Shout out to Game Time.
Shout out to Game Time. And if you guys want to donate to the channel today, we're actually doing the Naughty or Nice Wheel again today. So if you guys want to send in a $10 donation, whether that's on Super Chat, whether that's on Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal, we'll spin the wheel. And if it lands on the nice list, then you guys get a free raffle entry for our jersey raffle on Saturday's watch party when we play the Baltimore Ravens. So if you guys want to send in that donation, you guys can find us on Venmo at Jack-Sperry. Bless you, Coop. Money sign Captain Jack 19 on Cash App. and at Captain Jackrabbit on PayPal. By the way, if you land on the nice list and you put in a Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal, you get 2 raffle tickets for the raffle instead of just 1 because we get to keep more of the proceeds when you guys send in Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. YouTube takes 30% of every single dollar you guys send in via Super Chat, so we're not going to say no to Super Chats, but we will give you guys extra raffle tickets if you guys put in the Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal options. Want to give a big shout out here to our Black Diamonds. These are the people that have put in $500 or more on a Steelers Talk live show. This is the bedrock of this community. These are the real ones. These are the people that are showing up consistently to every single show, that is enjoying our content and is hyping each other up in the comments section. So big shout out to all of the Black Diamonds currently in the chat. And if you guys want to join Steelers Talk Black Diamond Club today, you guys can either A, donate $500 on a singular stream. I understand that can be a lot. Or B, you can make it to every single live show. You can hype up people in the chat. You can like every video, subscribe to the channel. And then when somebody like Platinum666 or Kurgan Cold or anybody else donates a sticker, you guys will be at the top of our list for those donated stickers from the people that spend a little bit more money than normal, I guess. So if you guys want to get in on Black Diamond action, you guys can just click that subscribe button, like the video, follow me on Twitter too, guys, is another thing that you guys can do. I'm going to be putting out my Russell Wilson film analysis on my X account later tonight. So if you guys want that and you want to see how Russell Wilson played in yesterday's loss versus the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to be putting out clips tonight on my X. You guys can find me at Jack_Sperry. And then also, Coop, you guys can follow us on IG as well. We just started a brand new Steelers Talk IG page. You guys can find us for short form Steelers content at Steelers CS. Really do appreciate your guys' support on IG. Okay, so up next here, Coop. Oh, yes. Shout-outs here. I want to give a big shout-out here to all the real ones that are currently in the chat. Spam those me's if you have clicked that thumbs up icon. We got 132 people in the chat right now. Shout-out to Parker. Shout-out to Pittsburgh Steelers fan 8. Tristan White is here. Steelers fan 2010. We got James C., Christian Andujar, Josh McMurdo, Cassie, both my girlfriends in the chat. Everybody give Cassie a shout out.
What did you guys end up getting for dinner?
Yesterday we got McDonald's.
Me too.
Yeah. What'd you get? What'd you get from McDonald's?
Little McNuggets?
Yeah, we got some McNuggets. We got a 6-piece McNugget, but I hadn't had a Big Mac in a long time. Yeah. So I was like, a Big Mac and some Big Mac sauce sounds so good right now, and man, did it slap. It slapped, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I haven't been to McDonald's in a long time, but it hit.
Yeah, you just get McNuggets. It's just like your go-to, like 10.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you get? What dipping sauce do you get?
Buffalo.
You get buffalo. I don't think I've ever heard anyone in my life say they get buffalo sauce from McDonald's.
Their buffalo sauce, low-key fire.
I'm going to have to try that out, I guess. Okay, guys, we appreciate your support. Let's get into our first segment here where we're going to be covering the latest Steelers news and rumors for you guys. We actually put out a takeaways video earlier this morning. If you guys didn't catch that, make sure you guys check that out at the end of today's live show. But we're going to be giving you guys some more news and rumors surrounding the black and gold here. And then make sure you guys stick around because we got our official Week 16 preview for Steelers versus Ravens. I'm going to give you my official score prediction for this football game as well at the end of today's show, so make sure you guys stick around.
Wait until you hear what Trader Joey had to say.
Yes, we've got a little bit of a shit talk video today from Mr. Trader Joey, who is very excited about this week's matchup.
We were about to start our show, and he just walked in the studio and was like, I have something to say to the Yinzers.
Exactly. So we literally filmed Joey's video like 2 minutes before we went live because he just had to say something to Steelers Nation.
So just wait.
Make sure you guys stick around for that. But in the meantime, let's get into our first segment right now, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today we got a bunch of Steelers news and rumors to cover for you guys right here on Steelers Talk. First up, we're going to be talking about some good news on the injury front for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin hit the podium today, and he gave some good news on guys like TJ Watt, George Pickens, and others on this football team. Then we'll talk a little bit about the rumor floating around that the Steelers should maybe sign Odell Beckham Jr. He is officially a free agent now, and after that debacle versus the Eagles offensively and George Pickens potentially not being able to play versus Baltimore, should the Steelers consider bringing in OBJ? I'll give you guys my answer later in today's show, and then we'll finish up today's show with one of the most idiotic statements I have ever seen anybody on national television make in ESPN's Rex Ryan. He made a stupid claim on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Make sure you guys stick around to see what Rex the Idiot had to say later in today's show. Now, before we get into the content here, make sure you guys go give me a follow on X if you haven't already. You guys can find me at Jack_Sperry. I put out my weekly NFL power rankings, my quarterback index, and I also put out daily Steelers updates on there every single day as well. So make sure you go follow me on there. And then make sure you follow Steelers Talk on IG. We put out short form Steelers content on IG outside of this YouTube channel. So if you want extra Steelers content from us here at Steelers Talk on Instagram, you guys can follow us at Steelers CS. So some good news on the injury front here, and we talked a little bit about it on the post-game reaction and a little bit in this morning's video. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. But head coach Mike Tomlin took the podium earlier today, and he said that he's quote-unquote optimistic about TJ Watt's chances of playing this Saturday versus the Baltimore Ravens. He said that he was looking quote-unquote comfortable walking around the facility, and people inside the Steelers building today are starting to kind of lean towards Watt being able to play against the Ravens on Saturday afternoon. And Tomlin said that healthy people are going to play versus the Ravens this week. And of course, healthy people, that's the type of term that Mike Tomlin likes to use. But we got guys like George Pickens right now questionable still with the hamstring. You got Deshaun Elliott still questionable with his hamstring, Larry Ogunjobi with the groin, and Deontay Johnson with the back injury. So right now you got 5 starters that are currently questionable for the Steelers. And Mike Tomlin said, hey man, we're trying to win the division now. We understand that a win on Saturday locks up the division in a home playoff game for us. So all the healthy players that they have available and can go, they're going to go on Saturday, all right? So that's definitely good news if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan here. And, when it comes to Deontay Johnson in particular here, we did see James Pierre come in, and we've seen Pierre come in multiple times this year when Jackson has left with injuries during games. And Tomlin said that he's quote-unquote comfortable with the backup cornerback options on this team if Deontay Johnson is not able to give it a go on Saturday with that back injury that he left Sunday's game with. So let me know down there in the comments section, between the outside cornerback options at the Steelers' disposal here, which guy should get the start opposite of Joey Porter Jr. if Deontay Johnson can't go? Type JP if you think James Pierre should be the guy, or if you think Corey Trice Jr., who's been a healthy scratch the last 2 weeks, guys, should get the start here. Type CT down there in the comments section. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, let me know who you think should be CB2 if D-Jack can't give it a go. Some more good news on the injury front here, or at least in terms of potentially getting a win versus the Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas Day. Patrick Mahomes suffered a mild high ankle sprain in yesterday's win versus the Cleveland Browns, and it's certainly looking like he potentially won't play this weekend against the Houston Texans when the Kansas City plays Houston on Saturday. But listen, man, even if Mahomes ends up playing on Christmas Day versus the Steelers, you have to assume that his mobility is going to be decreased with that high ankle sprain, and that could definitely play a major factor in this game between the Steelers and the Chiefs. And listen, man, if the Steelers lose against Baltimore on Saturday here, that Christmas Day game becomes extremely important for Pittsburgh to win. So if it comes down to it here, I think that, hopefully TJ Watt's going to be good to go by then. But if not, you got Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig attacking the Kansas City Chiefs with 2 very bad offensive tackles going up against a decreased mobility Patrick Mahomes. I kind of like that recipe for success for Pittsburgh, so this is a big injury if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So coming up here, should the Pittsburgh Steelers sign Odell Beckham Jr.? He is officially back on the open market. Could you see him in black and gold? I'm going to give you guys my answer to that question here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time. And Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. And what that means is that when you bring people together for live events, and the experience is just that much better during the holiday season. And guys, if you still need to get a last-minute gift for somebody in your life that loves sports or wants to go to a sporting event or any other live event for that matter, Game Time is the perfect place to get a last-minute Christmas gift for the person in your life you still need to get a gift for. So Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. So it makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets on a bunch of different ticketing sites. All you guys have to do is go onto the Game Time app, find an event you want to go see, and then you select the Game Time Picks filter at the top of the screen, and the app automatically filters through every single ticket in their database to find you the best tickets with the best deals for you and your family, so you're always paying the lowest possible price for great seats. What I love about the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, so it's the only ticketing app you really need on your phone. You also get all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals, so you can get even cheaper tickets if you procrastinate and wait till the last second to get your tickets for an event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. It's just for that first purchase, guys. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So Odell Beckham Jr. is officially a free agent after clearing waivers after the Miami Dolphins released him a couple days back. And now there's some people in Steelers Nation that are suggesting that with Van Jefferson and Mike Williams and Calvin Austin III not really getting the job done with George Pickens out, that they should go out and get the former All-Pro wide receiver. Well, right now, OBJ is 32 years old. I know, man, time flies with this guy, man, but he's 5'11", 200 pounds, so he's still got a decent amount of size. He's kind of a middle range kind of size receiver, but he's had a number of lower body injuries, multiple ligament tears in his knee. It's definitely not looking good in that regard, and for somebody that's aging, you can definitely tell on film that this guy doesn't have nearly the level of explosiveness that he even had maybe even just a year ago, and he just wasn't very productive with the Miami Dolphins in his time there in South Beach. You take a look here at the last 4 years for Mr. Odell Beckham. This year, just 9 catches for 55 yards and no touchdowns. Last year, as kind of a rotational piece there with the Baltimore Ravens, he had 35 catches and 3 touchdowns. Did not play in 2022 because of a torn ACL. And then in 2021, he helped the Rams quite a bit on their Super Bowl run, though. So, coming full circle there. He is a Super Bowl champion. Technically, he had a touchdown catch in that Super Bowl for the LA Rams. But listen, man, my take on this whole OBJ situation is I guess it can't hurt the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I certainly can't say with certainty, based on what I've seen on his film this year, that he's going to add anything past what Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, and the other guys in this wide receiver room are going to provide. With George Pickens out of the lineup here, I think Calvin Austin III is really the only guy that can consistently create separation in terms of his route running. Van Jefferson has been pretty much useless as a wide receiver this year, unless there's like a coverage bust or, a rotating coverage leaves him wide open. He's not getting open, plain and simply. And then Mike Williams has been very quiet since the Steelers traded for him because teams are kind of playing off coverage against him. And, Russell Wilson doesn't really like to throw it up when he doesn't have good leverage on those deep balls. So plain and simply, guys, Odell Beckham Jr., no Odell Beckham Jr., it doesn't really matter to me, guys. The Steelers need George Pickens back, period. This is the dynamic threat that the Steelers have. There is no more dynamic wide receivers available on the open market, obviously via trade because we're past the trade deadline, but also on the free agency market. This is the guy right here that is the key to the Steelers' offensive success. He is the most valuable offensive player on the Steelers right now, bar none, and that includes Russell Wilson, by the way. I think GP is absolutely the guy that the Steelers need to get back, and they need to do whatever they can to have this guy healthy for the postseason to give them a shot to win. So if you be the GM for me down there in the comments section, Would you bring in OBJ? Type S for sign or type P for pass? I mean, my thinking on this, guys, is, hey, he can't be worse than Van Jefferson, right? But, I mean, I just don't think it's going to move the needle all that much. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, guys. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We have daily videos covering the Pittsburgh Steelers for you guys right here on the channel. Breaking news coverage this offseason whenever the Steelers make a big move. Hey, if they sign Odell Beckham Jr., we're probably going to be going live for that, okay? Make sure you guys click that subscribe button, guys, because it's all 100% free. And we just passed over 71,000 subscribers yesterday, so thank you guys so much for all of your support. So now let's finish up with a little bit of fun roasting here because Rex Ryan is an idiot, plain and simply, guys. He went on Get Up today after the Steelers lost versus Philly, and he said that after all the success that the Steelers have had with Russell Wilson at quarterback this year, that not only should Steelers fans panic after losing to arguably the best team in football on the road when they had a bunch of injuries, but that they should panic and go to Justin Fields at quarterback. This is what Ryan had to say earlier today on ESPN. They're not as good as their record says they are. I mean, they really aren't. Tomlin's a great coach, don't get me wrong, but ever since Russ took over, this is why I like Justin Fields better. The impact that Russ has had on the rushing game, they're absolutely atrocious running the football now. But somebody better tell Rex Ryan here that Justin Fields in there only added 8 rushing yards per game. All right, so that's not that much. So the run game is pretty much around the same as it was when Justin Fields was the quarterback. And by the way, this is including Fields' rushing production. So it's actually not adding all that much, in my opinion. But you look at Russell Wilson and the impact that he has had on the passing game, and it is astronomical, the passing yards per game. And by the way, that includes yesterday's debacle versus the Eagles. They're still averaging about, 60 more yards per game with Russell Wilson at quarterback passing the football? I mean, Rex Ryan is just pulling this out of his ass. He's not looking at the stats. He's not looking at the film. He's just going based on vibes. And it's like, all right. And then he goes on TV, he gives his take, and he says, okay, let's go have a snack. That's not the right way to call, that's not the right way to analyze NFL football. And it's an absolute lazy take by Rex Ryan that he should be absolutely humiliated by. Now, before I go here, one last item to cover with you guys. It's kind of a funny one here because, of course, the Steelers traded Deontay Johnson away. You know, a lot of people said that the Steelers got fleeced in that deal. But not only did the Carolina Panthers trade him away within the same season, but now it seems like he's going to be cut loose from another football team here, and it's the Baltimore Ravens who gave up a 5th-round draft pick for him here. The Ravens and Deontay have agreed to not have Deontay be a part of team activities, which is absolutely hilarious. Here is the statement that the Baltimore Ravens put out earlier today. It says, we have mutually agreed with Deontay Johnson to excuse him from team activities this week. And by the way, that probably means, guys, he is going to hit the open market sooner rather than later. And no, I don't think the Steelers should bring him back. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. That'll be it for today's edition of Steelers News and Rumors, but we got more great Steelers coverage coming your way tomorrow. So to never miss any of our coverage, click that subscribe button right now. All right, first segment in the books. Rex Ryan loves those snacks there, Coop.
Bigger idiot. Rex Ryan, Deontay Johnson.
Rex Ryan.
I think so too.
Rex Ryan. I mean,
what a moronic thing to say.
I mean, like, the Steelers don't have their best offensive player. You're going into a place in Philly that you haven't won in since 1965. All right? Like, you're playing against an absolute bully of a football team on the road, and you lose to them, and he immediately reverts back to, oh, let's go back to Justin Fields. I mean, that is such an overreaction from Rex Ryan.
Here's what I think. You can tell me if I'm off base. I think this is just the talking points the national media wants him to regurgitate. He's not actually watching the Pittsburgh Steelers play football.
No, there's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way. And you know, I think that if he was, this is him being a prisoner of the moment, and he's completely forgetting all the great performances we've seen from Russell Wilson as a passer this 100%. Year. And it's like, we talked about it on this morning's edition of the show. I mean, right now, when you have Russell Wilson and George Pickens on the field, the Steelers are currently averaging the 3rd most yards per game offensively. All right? So that is an excellent offense. You take away George Pickens, and they're dead last in yards per game. So that's the issue. It's George Pickens being injured. It's not Russell Wilson. And Rex Ryan would know that if he actually watched the Pittsburgh Steelers play football, but he doesn't. He only eats snacks, so that's why he has the takes that he has. $5 super chat from Elevate LTs. What's up, Elevate? Good to see you, man. One of our Black Diamonds. Elevate, really, I think it was during our trade deadline coverage when Elevate LT's put in a $500 super chat. So Elevate, good to see you, my friend. Says, I know the Steelers didn't help themselves, but the refs are absolutely garbage. The
refs are a joke.
The refs were a joke yesterday, saying that they didn't see the Eagles punch anybody in the brawl. It's like, it's so obvious. There's video of it.
Well, dude, I'm not saying the Steelers win the game, but they may have cost them the game when they didn't give them the ball after Jalen Carter.
I mean, with the Jalen Carter thing, like, first of all, I think that you can probably I think a lot of attention's being drawn on the penalty, and rightfully so. Terrible call. Should have been before the change of possession, and it should have been first down Steelers. All right, but I think Mike Tomlin should have gone for it on 4th and 7.
Absolutely. I think that was a bad decision by Mike Tomlin. And look, he's always going to err on the side of caution, but at that point in the game, in the 4th and, was it 7? 4th and 7? 4th and 6?
Yeah, it was 4th and 7.
You kind of have to go for that at that point in time, in my opinion.
And also, at this point in the season, when you've needed to make a play, Russell Wilson has delivered that play for you.
Yes, he has.
So it's like, show a little trust in your guy at that spot.
It would be a little different, obviously, with no GP out there. You know, your weapons are limited and whatnot. But how about Art? Get creative and do something.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes... Here's the thing, though. I feel like the game plan wasn't awful.
Agreed.
Because it's like, okay, the Eagles were playing a lot of off coverage, and they played with a lot of light boxes. What does football sense tell you to do? Run the football, especially when you're in 12 personnel like the Steelers were for most of the game. So they clearly had the advantage to run it. The problem was the offensive line and the tight ends did not do their job blocking up front. They let Jalen Carter wreck the game. Zach Bond ruined the game. They did not execute their role. And if they did, we'd probably talk about Najee Harris and Jalen Warren wrecking this football game.
Do you think it would have made a difference with the guys the Steelers are missing on the offensive line?
I mean, we have no idea with Fautano.
Yeah, we just don't know.
He had one good game, but we just don't know how Fautano's season would be going if he was here. And then Nate Herbig, I think, would have Nate Herbig would have been replaced at this point in the season, regardless. And then James Daniels, I think James would probably be better than Mason McCormick at this point. But Mason, Mason's big issue is run blocking.
Yeah, for
Pass protection, he's actually been pretty solid. But run blocking, he has been a mess. He was a mess yesterday, so that's not good. $2 from Itzy. I don't even know how to say this. Itzy Air?
It's Yahir.
It's Yahir. Says, big shout out to San Diego. Shout outs to San Diego, man.
The 619.
You know the famous Anchorman line.
San Diego.
Go F yourself, San. I'm just kidding. Stay classy, San Diego, baby. I love it.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy. All right. $2 here from Elevate LTs. Hey, Elevate, if you want to see if you're on the naughty or nice list, send in another $3 super chat. We'll spin the wheel for you. It's still a great football team we have on our hands. Talking about the Steelers here.
Absolutely.
I agree. When you have TJ Watt and George Pickens healthy, completely agree. Because we talked about it earlier on the morning edition of Steelers Talk earlier today. Like, they have the third best offense in terms of total offense when you have Russell Wilson and George Pickens on the field. You take away George Pickens and you have the worst offense in football in total offense. So that George Pickens is absolutely the X factor for this unit. And when he's not on the field, of course it's going to look worse. You got Mike fucking Williams playing X for you right now. You got Calvin Austin III. And you want to talk about two opposite wide receivers there. Big Mike is big and can make tough catches with physicality, but he can't run routes.
Calvin opposite.
Calvin's the complete opposite. He's tiny, but he runs great routes. So it's kind of tough, man. You don't have like a legit number 2 receiver on this football team, and that hurts with GP out.
Would you say you're disappointed in how the Mike Williams thing has gone?
A little bit, but I actually think Mike's going to play a lot better when GP comes back.
I hope so.
I think Mike's going to play a little bit better because, like, Mike was never going to be a guy that gets 8 to 10 targets a game. He was always going to be somebody that gets 4 to 6 targets in a game.
You just got to make the most of those.
You got to make the most of them, and you got to get to him earlier. I mean, they didn't throw a downfield pass to him until like late in the third quarter, late in the fourth quarter. Like, it wasn't enough for Mike Williams, but he wasn't getting open. They were playing off coverage on him, and the opportunities weren't there to go to him.
They weren't stubbying him.
they weren't stubbing him. Okay, so let's get into our preview here, our final segment of the day. Keep sending in those super chats. Again, $10 to spin the naughty or nice wheel to see if you're naughty or nice. All right, so if you want to get a little bit of a head start.
Did you keep the full video? If you know what I'm talking about.
No, I didn't.
Dang it!
Well, actually, yes, I did. Good. I did. Okay, I did. Okay, so Elevate puts in another 2. It's close enough to $10.
We'll count 'em.
Let's spin the wheel for Elevate here. He says Ravens fans are such clowns. Just wait till you see the Ravens host here in just a couple seconds.
Wait till you see what he had to say.
All right, so Elevate put in another 2, so let's spin the wheel.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Sounds good. So Elevate, if you get into the nice wheel or the nice list, you get a free raffle entry for Saturday's watch party. Talking about jersey raffle. And we will get into the Week 16 preview coming up here soon after we spin the naughty or nice wheel. So if you want to see my score prediction for Saturday night, make sure you stick around. Now let's see if Elevate is naughty or nice. It's certainly looking like he's nice right down the middle. So Elevate.
Literally right down the middle.
Elevate, man. You've been real nice this year, man. So appreciate you. You have a free raffle entry for the watch party here on Saturday to win a Steelers jersey. Just got a $5 super chat from one of our newest Black Diamonds, Troy Phillip Obuga. What's up, Troy? Good to see you. Says, Jack, can you wear my jersey on Saturday? Troy Yucks, my big bro, passed away in July, and he gave me that nickname. It would mean a lot, especially if we win. Here's the thing, Troy. I would love to wear your jersey on Saturday. The thing is, you're kind of a newer Black Diamond, and although we've got the order in for your jersey here,
hasn't come yet.
It takes a while for these customized jerseys to get in. So, Troy, I promise, man, we're going to be wearing that jersey as soon as it comes in, but I can't guarantee you it comes in by Saturday. So if it's in by Saturday, Troy, I promise I'll wear it. If it's not, just know that it hasn't arrived yet. So appreciate you, Troy. By the way, if you want to see if you are on the naughty or nice list, send in another 5 and we'll spin the wheel for you.
Appreciate you, Troy.
But in the meantime here, let's get into our second and final segment here today. Steelers versus Ravens, the biggest game of the year to this point, the AFC North title on the line. Who do I think is going to win it? Let's get into my preview right now. The Steelers travel to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore on Saturday for a matchup that might decide the AFC North Championship for the 2024 NFL season. Welcome in to the Steelers Talk Week 16 preview. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today we're breaking down team trends. We're breaking down keys to victory. I've got my Lamar Jackson scouting report, and I'm going to finish up today's show with my official score prediction for this Week 16 matchup. Will the Steelers get the season sweep and lock up the AFC North? Make sure you guys stick around to the end of today's show to find out. But we will be going live on Saturday night for this game here. Our coverage will start at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time with an hour-long pregame show. Then we got instant reaction and live play-by-play during the game, and then an extensive hour of extensive post-game coverage as well. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to join us live on Saturday. And make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you're Coop's booing, because we've got Trader Joey this week. He used to be kind of our assistant producer here on Steelers Talk. A lot of you guys will remember him during the summer, but he was offered the Ravens job, and he jumped ship immediately. And you know what? He has a little bit of a message for Steelers fans this week as we get ready for a sub battle.
Steeler Nation, hope you've enjoyed being at the top of the AFC North. That's not going to happen much longer when y'all come into M&T Bank Stadium and get destroyed on Saturday. Russell Wilson guaranteed 2 picks. TJ Watt is even going to play. I don't know. I think he's faking the injury. He's soft. See you guys Saturday. You're not going to want to miss it.
So Joey's feeling pretty good about this week, especially because the Ravens Rundown got more subscribers than us on this morning's video. So we got to take back the lead here, guys. Ravens Rundown, Trader Joey, he left Steelers Talk. We got to show him who runs the AFC North right now. So if you're a new viewer, you haven't clicked that subscribe button, click that subscribe button right now and help us win our sub battle this week. Okay, now let's get into this matchup here, man. The 10-4 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens, currently sitting at 9-5. And back in Week 11, the Steelers ended up getting the victory by a final score of 18-16 at Acrisure Stadium. Once again, again, Mike Tomlin did a number on Lamar Jackson, just 16 of 33 completion percentage for just over 200 yards on 33 pass attempts, a touchdown and an interception. Derrick Henry had a big fumble early in the game. Shout out Nick Herbig on just 16 carries, had 65 yards, so that was arguably the worst game for Derrick Henry this entire season. And then Russell Wilson, no touchdowns in that game, but was pretty efficient, and at the end of the day was able to deliver the victory for the black and gold. And just like it usually is in this rivalry, it's low scoring, it's under 20 points for both teams, and it's a slugfest, all right? Now, I do think that the Steelers have some bad trends heading into the week, all right? So before we get into the team trends, all that stuff, Mike Tomlin's not good on short weeks. Plain and simply, guys, we know this based on his record on Thursday Night Football. If you give him less time to prepare, Mike Tomlin's usually not the best. All right, number 2, if TJ Watt's not on the field, the Steelers are 1-10 without him in his career. That is not a good number if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So if Watt isn't on the field, that decreases the Steelers' chances significantly of winning, in my opinion. Then also, you just played an extremely physical Philadelphia Eagles team. And if you know anything about playing teams like the Chargers, the Eagles, and even the Steelers, once you play those types of physical ball clubs, it can be tough, especially on a short week here, to recover and play good football the following week. So that's definitely not in the Steelers' favor. Plus, the Steelers have 5 starting players that are questionable to play in this football game. TJ Watt with that low ankle sprain, he's going to be questionable. George Pickens, of course, will be questionable with that hamstring. Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette says that he does not expect Pickens to play in this game. Larry Ogunjobi's questionable with the groin again. Deontay Jackson left last week's game with a back. And Deshaun Elliott, of course, is dealing with a hammy as well. So hopefully as many, at least like 3 or 4 of these starters can be on the field for the Steelers, because if like 4 or 5 of these guys can't go on Saturday night, that's not going to be very good if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So let's take a look here at what the Ravens have done so far this year. And honestly, kind of a slow start. They lost to the Chiefs in the opener. Then you lose to the Raiders at home in week 2. That one's still kicking them in the balls a little bit. But then, they started going on a win streak. They won 5 in a row, including a game against the Commanders and all these different teams. And they've beaten some good teams this year. The Broncos are going to be ending up making the playoffs. The Chargers are going to end up making the playoffs. They have lost to the Steelers and Eagles in recent weeks, but they just came off a very convincing victory versus the New York Giants by a final score of 35-14. So our opponent this week, okay, it's the Baltimore Ravens, obviously. So you take a look at their scheme. We broke this down in our Week 11 preview, but just a refresher here, Todd Monken is their offensive play caller. He runs a modern pro spread style of offense, lots of shotgun, lots of spread formations, likes to give Lamar Jackson easy answers at the line of scrimmage. Then also, Zach Orr is their first-year defensive play caller. He has struggled at times this year. They run an aggressive 3-4 style of defense, kind of in the vein of the Mike McDonald defense that they ran last year. But if you ask me, Zach Orr isn't nearly as good of a play caller as McDonald was last season. So let's start with the offensive side of the ball for the Ravens here, and the key players that you're going to have to keep your eye on Sunday. Obviously, Lamar Jackson. Obviously, King Henry, and then a couple of decent receivers. Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman in particular has been really good as of late. Then Mark Andrews has played really well this year. I mean, remember in the opener when we said, man, Isaiah Likely looks like he's going to take over from Mark Andrews. Andrews has said not so fast, and he's had one of the best years of his career so far this year. Take a look at the team trends this season. The Baltimore Ravens, by the numbers, are arguably the best offense in football. But as we know, and if you've been following this rivalry for a while, Mike Tomlin and this Steelers defense have Lamar Jackson's number. So we'll talk about that later in the keys to victory, but just take the Ravens' offensive stat rankings with a little bit of a grain of salt. Plus, the Steelers forced 3 turnovers on the Ravens in their previous matchup, and they're currently first in the league with 30 total turnovers. So the points per game trends here, 29.9 points for the Ravens, 18.9 points given up by the Steelers, would predict 24 points for the Ravens. But again, guys, remember, take the Ravens numbers with a grain of salt, because the Steelers defense usually does a lot better than the NFL average against the Baltimore Ravens offense. Then we get to the defensive side of the ball. Kyle Hamilton is a big-time safety for them. Marlon Humphrey, really good physical corner on the outside. Justin Madubuike can certainly be a menacing presence on the inside. He just got paid. They've got a lot of really talented players on this defense as a whole. And now you take a look at the other side of the ball in terms of the team trends here. The Ravens defense has not been great this year, but they have been playing better lately. They started the season off as one of, if not the worst defense in football. Now they started to play a little bit better lately, so that's something to keep in mind with the Steelers not playing nearly as well with George Pickens being out the last 2 weeks. And they just haven't been good in the red zone period since Russell Wilson has taken over. Their 31st in the league in the red zone with Russell Wilson as their quarterback. The points per game trends here this week for this side of the ball, Steelers are averaging 18.9 points per game on offense. Ravens are giving up 23.7 points on defense, so that would predict the Steelers score 21 points on Sunday. And of course, that would predict, if you go by the trends here, that the Ravens will win this game by a final score of 24-21. But again, guys, take it with a grain of salt because Lamar Jackson is just not very good against Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So still to come here, keys to victory versus the Ravens. I got 5 things the Steelers need to do to come away with a win and lock themselves in as 2024 AFC North champions. And then not Week 11 score prediction, my Week 16 score prediction is coming up here momentarily as well, so make sure you stick around to the end of today's show. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is focused on togetherness this holiday season. And that means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better. Plus, if you're looking for a last-minute gift, Game Time is perfect to get some last-minute tickets for the person in your life they still need to get a ticket. They still need to get a gift for. And Game Time has a brand new feature on their app called Game Time Picks, which makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You just select one button, the Game Time Picks filter, and it automatically filters through every single ticket in their database for that event to find you the best tickets with the best prices, with the best views, so that you and your family can get the best deals on every single ticket you buy on their platform. So what I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with the crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. It's just for that first purchase, guys. You can create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. First key to victory for Pittsburgh this week is to execute the quote-unquote Lamar Jackson plan, as Mike Tomlin calls it. They had their Joe Burrow plan, as they showed on HBO's Hard Knocks, and they alluded to a Lamar Jackson plan. And obviously, as we know, Mike Tomlin's done a great job executing that plan versus Lamar Jackson, who has been a perennial MVP candidate in this league since taking over as the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. You guys take a look at my scouting report for Mr. Jackson, as Mike Tomlin likes to call him. He's a dynamic rusher, arguably the most dynamic in the game. His arm talent is legit. He can throw it from his hip. He throws it with really good accuracy. The playmaking, both as a passer and as a rusher outside of the pocket, is world-class, and his pocket presence is really good too. It's really tough to put him on the ground. His cons are honestly hard to find, guys, but honestly, if you put some pressure on him, you don't give him lanes to escape, that can certainly mess with him a little bit, and he's not as good processing against man coverage as he is against zone coverage, which is what he's seen mostly in his NFL career. So how Mike Tomlin stops Lamar Jackson, it's a combination of a couple things. All right, it's man coverage and blitzing. More specifically, 5-man dog blitzes, as Mike Tomlin likes to call them. So it's just sending 5 guys, which eliminates that extra run lane for Lamar Jackson to exploit, and you play man-on-man coverage with a single high safety up top. That's how the Steelers attack Lamar Jackson. It's a pretty simple game plan, but you got to execute it at a high level, and man, do the Steelers execute this plan, and they know how to play against Lamar Jackson. Jackson in his career versus the Steelers in games where he has more than one pass attempt, 56% completion percentage, 213 yards passing per game, a whopping 22 sacks in 5 games. That is unbelievable, guys. And then 5 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. So Mike Tomlin shuts down Lamar Jackson. They're going to try to do that again this week. then once again, the Steelers are going to be looking to contain King Henry again. They did it back in Week 11 when this team ended up winning, but it's going to be easier said than done to do it 2 times in one season, especially when King Henry is going to be in his castle, in his house, and in his kingdom, baby. And, you look back to Week 11, the Steelers did a great job on him, man. Just 13 carries. They really forced Lamar to throw it a bunch. He only had 65 yards. He had a touchdown, but he also had a key fumble where Nick Herbig was able to pop that out on the first drive of the game, which really set the tone for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the entire afternoon. Third thing, and just like they did in that game against the Baltimore Ravens previously, you got to get an early lead. You got to set the tone and set the precedent, and you got to really force the Baltimore Ravens to think about throwing the ball with Lamar Jackson more. Because if this is a King Henry game instead of a Lamar Jackson game, that doesn't benefit the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh wants Lamar throwing it as much as they can. The more Lamar throws, the more Baltimore loses. Plain and simply, the more they run it with Derrick Henry, the more they win. So if the Steelers can force the Baltimore into pass-heavy situations, we know Mike Tomlin and his plan to alleviate the talents of Lamar Jackson is the best in football. So the more that the Steelers can force the Ravens to go against their normal game plan, the better as far as I'm concerned. The best way to do that is get a lead on these guys early. Number 4, key to victory for Pittsburgh this week is to let Russ cook, and the reasoning for that is twofold. Number 1, Baltimore is really, really good at stopping the run. In fact, they're the best in terms of stopping the run in the National Football League this year in terms of yards per carry allowed. They are number 1 in the National Football League this year at stopping the run in terms of the yards per carry efficiency. They don't give up explosive plays, and they don't give up that much on a down-to-down basis. And then you pair that, number 2, with the Steelers' lack of an explosive and efficient run game. They're currently 30th in the NFL in yards per carry on offense this year. So plain and simply, last week versus the Eagles, the Steelers and Arthur Smith kind of neutered Russell Wilson a little bit. They need to let him loose. They need him to cook. They need him to do his thing, and they need him to be on his game, to put up points in this football game, come up clutch in the fourth quarter if it's close. And, last time that he played against the Ravens, he didn't necessarily play his best game in the entire world, if I'm being completely honest with you. He didn't get into the end zone in terms of passing the football. He did have an interception, and he just had over 200 yards. So it was not Russell Wilson's best day at the office when he played against this Ravens team a few weeks back. It's going to have to be better this week, in my opinion, especially if George Pickens is not on the field on Saturday afternoon. And it really is and to me, especially if you don't have George Pickens here, guys, the key to the passing game is getting the ball to your playmakers in space. All right, and this is why Arthur Smith needs to bring back the running back screen. They ran pretty much none of them in last week's loss against the Eagles. So I'm talking about Calvin Austin III, Jaylen Warren, Najee Harris. With George Pickens off the field, those 3 guys are the most dynamic players you have in open space. So I'm talking about drag routes for Calvin Austin III. Get some shallow crosses going, running back screens. It doesn't have to be downfield passes here. You can still throw the ball short and protect Russell Wilson, but you got to get these guys space to run, and those are the 3 guys you got to do it with. But obviously, hopefully, George Pickens, we hope he's on the field, because this team goes from the 3rd best offense in the league in terms of total yards per game to dead last in total yards per game when George Pickens is not on the field. So obviously, George Pickens being on the field could be an X factor for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this football game, and I'm really hoping that he's going to be able to give it a go. But obviously, if there's a chance for re-injury, I'm not risking having this guy being injured for the postseason, so you got to be able to balance that. So my final key to victory here for Pittsburgh is you got to want it more than the Baltimore Ravens. And this was a key to victory for me back in Week 11. And whenever you play these kind of grinded out AFC North, defensive-heavy football games, it's going to come down to 1 play or 2 plays in the fourth quarter that's going to decide it. So you can't have stupid penalties. You can't take a stupid sack. You have to be able to force a turnover, create a stupid sack, get a strip sack fumble, make a play on special teams. The team that makes the play in the fourth quarter is going to come away with the victory. And for me, guys, it always seems like the Steelers is the team that comes away with that play in the fourth quarter. So I can't pick against the Steelers in this situation. I'm going to pick the Steelers to win this week 20 21-17 on a last-second field goal or touchdown in an absolute barn burner Saturday afternoon. I can't wait to watch it with you guys on the Steelers Talk watch party. So now let me know down there in the comment section. I think 2017 Steelers win. What do you predict for this weekend's game between the Steelers and Ravens? Let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments section. And again, guys, make sure you click that subscribe button because we will be going live on Saturday afternoon starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Steelers Talk watch party. Breaking this entire game down for you guys. It's going to be the biggest game of the season to this point. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure you click that subscribe button right now. Second segment in the books. We got some super chats to get to. Troy, this is his second, so we're going to see if he is naughty or nice here, Coop. Shout out to all active duty
Shout out, Troy.
and veteran personnel, Navy Chief, Navy Pride. Troy, appreciate you and appreciate. I believe Troy said it was his dad that was
Yes.
an active duty, but he's a veteran.
Yep.
So Troy, appreciate you and your family, man, and the sacrifices you guys have made for this beautiful country that we live in.
Yeah, here we appreciate this super chat. We can't show it on screen though because we cannot show curse words. I can read Spanish. We can't show that.
Okay, so
We can show some curse words. We can't show that.
It's ya here puts in a $2 super chat, but we can't show it because it has a curse word in it. So sorry about that. It's you here, but you did put in a $2 super chat.
Just want to err on the side of caution.
And we appreciate you. So Troy, let's spin the wheel for Troy here and see if he's naughty or nice. $10, and we'll spin the wheel for you.
All right, Troy.
If you get into the nice category, you get a free raffle entry for Saturday's watch.
He got dead center. Elevate got dead
Yeah,
center.
Elevate is like the nicest guy that I know.
How about that?
I mean, that's crazy. Right down the fairway?
Are you kidding me?
You kidding me? Playoffs? All right, let's see. Oh, is Troy gonna? Oh, is it gonna be right down the middle again?
Not quite, but still good.
Troy, nice job with the nice list. Troy gets a free raffle entry.
It is Troy is active duty, by the way.
And Troy is active duty.
Yes.
So Troy, appreciate your service to our country, my friend. Thank you for watching our show and loving the Pittsburgh Steelers the way that you do. I promise you, once we get your jersey in, I promise you we'll wear it first and foremost.
Yes,
It'll be
indeed.
the first jersey up once we get it. All right, my friend. So you're on the nice list. You are on the raffle for this weekend's games, my friend. Appreciate your support. Okay, so we're at 5:21. I think it's time to say goodbye today, Coop.
Yeah, let's head on out of here.
It's been a good live show. We will be back on Wednesday, folks. We got 200 people watching right now. That's absolutely fantastic.
Legends.
Thank you so much to all the people watching the show today. We'll be back on Wednesday, guys. We'll be having 3 segments, I believe, of more Steelers content for you guys, getting you guys ready for Steelers versus Ravens. The preview will go out tomorrow. The news and rumors segment will go out later tonight. So if you want to rewatch, you guys can rewatch.
And don't forget to go watch our early Monday.
Yeah, and don't forget to watch our AM video that we put out earlier today. I put out 8 takeaways from the film that I watched last night. So if you guys want to see that, go ahead and watch that video as well. And until Wednesday, folks, here we go, Steelers.